Starting motion.
Right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this board information session on Monday, the 25th of August. Running a couple of minutes late. First up, we've got some apologies from Sam McDonald and James Goff and Linda Chen, and an apology for lateness from David Cartwright. So, with that in mind, should we crack on? So first up, Bridie, you want to come and take a seat? Let's get into it. Sorry for the delay.
No. All right, so here to talk about the rolling renewal program for community parks. So the rolling renewal program, I'll just cover sort of what it basically like what it is and what it isn't. Sorry. So if you can scroll one up, I think there should be a slide that says what is the rolling renewal? Yeah, this one. Thank you. Right, so the rolling renewal program, basically we go through and we renew assets in community parks an effort to maintain levels of service. So we don't do any sort of upgrades or put new things in. Say if a bench seat comes out, a bench seat goes back in. Everything's gone through the LTP. It's how we get budget for this. And we run a few different programs in parks, one for regional parks, one for community parks, then one for heritage parks. So we go to the next slide. How do we determine what's renewed? So generally, we get the sort of the core base of what we know that we need to renew for our asset data system. So any assets, they're scored on a 1 to 5, 1 being very good, 5 being very poor. So we like to keep everything, we aim to keep things 3 and above. So we look at just those 3s, we look at the 4s and 5s as the first sort of step, and then we refine our program from there. So we take in obviously feedback from you guys. Sometimes the asset data is not, doesn't capture every single thing, so it might be things that we miss. And now that we have internal staff, they feed into this as well. Say, hey, look, this garden ball is actually really, really bad and it's really high use. We need to actually include this in the program ahead of something else that might technically have a lower condition rating. So once we've done that, that's when we sort of start to set our program. So we split them across 3 different specific delivery packages as well. So it's actually, you're going to see 4 in here actually for our years. So the first year that we'll show you is locked in because we've already done all the scoping and we've ordered plants and equipment and things, and it's already sometimes tied into a contract. So what I'm looking for feedback from you guys, if you have any, is anything that you might want brought forward or added into the program that's either not there or it's too far out and you'd like it to be brought forward. If we want to do those things, that's cool. We can make that happen. We just need to have a look at how we make room in the program for that, and that'll be substituting something out and moving it along, which is fine. We can do that. So if you jump across to the next slide, it sort of talks about how we're rated, which I've already sort of touched on. One thing we also look at a lot is safety. So our hard assets, particularly hard assets, because they can create tripping hazards, and playgrounds. We make sure that we're paying quite a lot of attention to those and the asset condition rating, more so than just this would be a nice to have. It's comes down to safety for those things. If we move on to the next slide. So just at a wee example, this is at Washington Way Skate Park. So the one on the left, on the right hand side, is the before. So there's just like rogue plants and weeds, old mulch, needs a prune. So the guys or girls will come through and they'll just replenish the soil. They'll do any pruning, remove any weeds, come through and replant and mulch just to renew the garden. So they're not doing anything big and beyond, not extending it, just replacing like for like. And if you head to the next slide, so this is a playground that we did last year. And when we talk for like, so in some instances, it's not possible to do exactly like for like. Playgrounds is quite a good example because some equipment is no longer available. So on that one there, the top one, it's sort of a little bit hard to see. You can see a white swing type thing that spins around. It's called a octopus. They're really popular about 20 years ago and really, really cool, but they don't actually make them anymore, which really sucks. So we need to try and find something. We try to look for things that is the most sort of like, sort of similar play features. So down the bottom is the picture after we'd renewed the playground, and the blue thing on the right is basically as close as what we could kind of get. It's it spins around just like the octopus does. So yeah, just an example of if we can't replace exactly like for like, we try to get it close. With the renewal program, we don't go out for consultation other than when we do playground renewals, because we can't always get that like for like, and we came a little bit unstuck a few years ago and had some good learnings from that. So I'll bring up, and if you could bring up the program, and we can have a quick squiz through that. I'm not expecting any lots of feedback and things right now. Just have a think about it, and you can put those that information back through the governance team for us to consider for you. So if you open that one up, scroll to the top there. All right, keep going along. Is it going to fit on the screen? Maybe not. There we go, cool. All right, so play and recreation. So we split into a couple of categories here. Play renew items down, so play renewals at the top there. So that's the entire playground. Generally the entire playground. So this is what we've got in our plan so far. We haven't got any candidates for FY29 yet. That's because we just need some more condition assessments done on those ones, but they're kind of too far out. They won't really impact the program at the moment. So we're locking in 26, so we're locking 27 and beyond. So if you keep scrolling down, the play item renewals, that's when we just have like one slide or one seesaw, one individual piece of equipment that isn't going to last as long as the rest of the play equipment's going to last. If we keep scrolling down there too. All right, so this is when we get to our green asset renewal. Your green asset renewal is quite hefty. We were able to get through quite a lot more than what we thought we were going to last year. So we've loaded the program up a bit. Often we tried to flatten it out across all 4 of those years, but we know that we can achieve a few more than we were allocating ourselves last year. But if you keep scrolling, this is when we get to hard surface renewals. Okay, so hard surface renewals is like our car parks and all our pathway networks. Anything that you that's not grass that you walk across in a park. It includes shingle pathways as well. And if you scroll down again, these are just individual, although we're not sort of seeing feedback on particularly on these ones because these are standalone capital projects. It's just that sometimes they include play spaces, green or hard surface asset renewals as well. So sometimes they'll be, usually because of their larger projects, where they don't really want to be rolled into just one big program of work. They need a bit more scrutiny over them. And that's the end of the program for you. Yeah, for you guys. So like I said, I'm not expecting anything right now, but if you could get something through to me, I'm going to come back. It'll be in the new board. So you got a couple of months really to get information to me, and we can see where we can change the program to suit. So when I come back to a decision-making meeting, reason we're doing that so that everyone sort of understands that best, that everyone else has an opportunity to see that how it's affected and change the program, so we can all agree on it. Yeah.
So just a couple of questions, not on your programming, but are the renewals being done by contractors or have you in-housed that?
So the only in-housing we've done for that
is
for gardens. Yeah, the rest of it is contracted.
So from your perspective, so I can raise it directly with Andrew, but from your perspective, do you think us having a team of like 2 people that just constantly do installations or 3 or 4, whatever it is, but even if we started in one part of the city, and trialled them.
It would be something that we could
And
definitely.
then they'll do the maintenance as well if they did the,
You could do that definitely with playgrounds.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, if we had a couple of people doing playgrounds, we could do all the installs ourselves. Yeah.
so I might raise that with
It would be something that
Andrew,
we could
give you
accomplish.
a heads up now. And then the other one is, where does your money come from?
It's always allocated through the LTP.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not,
So-
I have
so
to do some more. It's rates. My understanding is that it's rates. I've got a meeting tomorrow with one of the capital programmers to just have a better understanding of it.
So have you seen a breakdown of DC charging before?
No, that's one thing we're going to hit tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, because in the DC charging, we charge for regional parks and local parks.
Yep.
And in some areas, there's quite a lot of money collected.
Yep.
For parks, and hopefully we're not adding more parks because we've got about 1,400.
Yeah.
We've got a lot. So adding more we're better off doing the ones we've got better.
Yep.
And giving you the money to do that and when a contract, a new subdivision comes along, just no more parks, thanks. We'll have an upgrade down the road.
There is, we do have to provision for green space in newer areas
Yeah.
because people have to be within about 400 or 500 meters walking distance basically to the nearest green space.
Yeah.
That's how it works
You've
at the
done it,
moment. Doesn't mean it should always happen that way. If that's not what council agree on, that's fine. But yeah, to where exactly how that money is distributed, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, okay, cool, thanks, mate.
So just quickly on the Alma Park one, is that about the shingle? Is it the shingle that I'm assuming?
The HUD surfaces,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then I wanted to ask a question. So I've got a few questions about the playground equipment. So where is that, okay, actually, what's the general lifespan of playground equipment? Like what would you hope it to be?
Older equipment lasts quite a bit longer. So sometimes we will have a slide that's like 40 years old and still going strong. Some of our new equipment lasts about 20 years. Yeah. So yeah, newer the plastic stuff, about 20. Anything that's made of steel, about 40.
Okay, and so I know there's like a follow-on question to that, and if
Yeah.
David's online, I'm sure David might even have questions around that in particular. But I wanted to ask, how do we prevent scenarios from happening where we go to replace a piece of equipment that's no longer available? What if we're replacing it with something that we can't get in future again, like the octopus, the octo rock thing?
How do we stop that from happening again?
Yeah.
We kind of can't, like, there are things that we know we're always going to have slides and we're always going to have swings.
Yeah.
Everything else can kind of change.
Yeah.
And it kind of depends on demand throughout the world, what everyone else wants. And then people start to manufacture it, and then we're kind of left with, okay, this is what we've got from a few catalogs to select. That's why we look at what does that piece of equipment do? Is it a swinging type of equipment? Does it make you go in circles? Does it promote balance? And that's when the like for like comes along. We go, okay, well, it's not going to do exactly that thing, but it'll still give kids an opportunity to learn balance. So this is what we'd put in.
Yeah, you're looking at what are the kids learning around this?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then just for final question, when you are going through the process of changing the equipment where it can't be like for like, what does how can the community impacted by that piece of equipment feed into the decisions around some of that?
So we still, when we go and do playground renewals, we consult. The only time for players that we won't consult is if it's a piece of individual equipment. Most of the time, the individual equipment, usually it swings and slides though,
Okay.
which is we can replace like for like.
Right. And then what happens if residents were to complain?
So they would, what we'd do an engagement, we open up for engagement process to get their feedback, and we come to the board about it, yeah.
Couple from me. Nunwick car park in FY28. Is that just the stuff around the outside of Nunwick Park? Because there's not actually a car park in Nunwick Park.
Unless it's at the hockey.
It's
That's the stuff that around just like on the outside edges, right? Or actually in the
And
hockey.
there's one in there, right?
One in there, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a renewal there, is it?
It's a renewal there. It's actually, we've had some feedback. That came up because of the club wanting this to happen. It is actually, its layout's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's necessarily dangerous, but like it's not very modern. It does encourage, you've got lots of kids walking out
Yeah.
and using that space, and there's not a lot of room.
It was
for cars.
designed before the new thing was put in.
It's
too,
an old
wasn't it?
car
So
park.
it was old, so it
Yeah, but
wasn't
we
really
revamped
designed.
it. Was it this board that did it, Marianne? Or was it when I was at Shirley Papa?
Yeah, I don't remember us doing.
It's Shirley Papanui. So it's when you know you've been around too long, car park renewal.
You've gone round for Neil, Aaron.
Not necessarily the surface is super bad, it's just its layout.
Okay, a little typo just to show that I'm paying attention. Avonhead Park isn't in Harewood. Avonhead Park is a Waimairi, but that's fine.
Make sure we get that right on that.
Maybe you should know something about the rec review.
Just checking to make sure we're paying attention.
Yep,
Steve.
yep,
Put
thank
those
you.
in there.
Sheldon Park surface.
What do you mean?
Sheldon Park,
Yep,
is that its current year, because it's not here.
yeah, it's planned. So if it's on the individuals at the bottom,
Yeah, right at the bottom.
at the
Oh.
bottom one,
On the,
because
I
it's a,
didn't go down far enough.
that's right, it's a larger one, it's a larger project, so it's a standalone project. So we're doing all the planning and scoping this year, delivery next year.
Is that the car park and entrance way?
yes, it is.
Brilliant.
Look at the whole, look at all.
Done something.
Still not the grounds, but
Yeah.
it's the, yeah, so just, and I don't know whether you can speak to this yet or not, but I'm not sure if you've been into the main entrance of Sheldon Park about how the like potholes and kind of gnarly that is.
Yeah.
Will that essentially be like curb and channel and paved on the way in, like ideally?
I don't, without.
Did
it
that come
being
to us?
obvious- I can ask the project manager to bring it to you.
Yeah, could you please?
Yeah, yeah,
Just because that it needs to be, because it's just an absolute mess, and people, if it's not, when people go past each other, they pull off the side into the mud and their four-wheel
Yeah.
drives and stuff, and it just rips up the whole thing and makes it look real.
That'd be a good
untidy.
one for your project manager to come in and do a back of the envelope and a talk first before he spends any money or she spends any money on design. It would be a good one to get that, because we and Jason especially have had a lot of feedback from there for quite a few years.
Yep.
Done a few grumpy on-site meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was told
yeah.
that
We've
was-
done a bit of patching and things there, but not a whole look at the whole network and everything, curb and channel.
Yeah, because one of the other questions we had at the Belfast Community Network meeting was when they do the renewal on that car park, if they can have a look at the drainage situation, because it is a Belfast, it's a self-designated emergency response
Yes.
bar. You can't remember what the Burp. It is Burp. I couldn't remember.
It is, sorry.
Belfast Emergency Response Plan. So essentially, like, because of where they are and where some of the other inundation zones are for tsunamis and all that kind of stuff, it's like one of the closest good spots. And they have had situations in heavy rain where there's only one drain down one end and it blocks. And it's like, could we have like another drain just to give some redundancy, considering the way that,
Yeah.
and it's like, would that feed into that hard surface renewal?
Yeah, we might be able to, if that's the case, there might be other ways we can fund anything over and above if it's got that status. If
Yeah.
that's what they're
And
trying.
it's nothing special. It's just like, there's a drain. We think it works mostly, but it seems to be maybe having some issues in the recent past. But if it's really important, that car park says clearly we're going to have two drains, then that just provides some redundancy in case one of them ends up filled up with
Yeah.
leaf litter or something like that, so that the car park doesn't flood out. That was just something that was some feedback that we got at the AGM last week. Anything else there from me?
I've got one more question actually. What's the process with accidents with kids? Do they get reported?
If they're important to us, we know. If they don't, we just don't know.
Most wouldn't know, eh?
Yeah. Do you
There's a
get,
lot of stuff that we know we don't know.
yeah, do you get, like, do the reporting of accidents and incidences around playground equipment feed into your decision making?
Yep, it does. Yeah, it definitely does. Often we can fix the problem through maintenance generally.
Yeah.
So it doesn't usually impact this. But we do it, we can also address it through, we've got reactive renewal money. So this is all planned renewals. We also have reactive renewal. It's a small pot, but we know that sometimes things just break.
Is that like my cricket net matting over
That
in
was slightly different again.
slightly different game? Yeah.
But yeah, we can address those issues through other ways, that's a bit quicker.
Yeah, interesting, cool, thank you.
Right, I just have a question. So do you also look at the planting in those parks? Is that part of it as well? Okay, and this is just a question. So if there's a park that the playground's pretty good and it's probably still got a few years left, there's another asset, like I was thinking like a cricket, a net area, if part of that's damaged or if there's a problem with that, you know, is that a maintenance that doesn't come under this? Or
Yeah, generally it will fall to maintenance unless it's at such a point where we can't actually, maintenance isn't going to fix the problem.
Yes.
And it needs to be renewed.
Okay, right. And so if you were looking at a park and let's say it had a cricket.
Yep.
It was always about cricket with me, I don't know why. As well, it had a cricket, I'm thinking of, for example, West Grove. Terry, I don't know if you know that's in Avonhead. When they replanted some trees and they seemed to plant, this was a while ago though, but they planted them right where you, near the cricket nets, you know, you're trying to, so, yeah.
Yeah, they the urban forest plan, when
Yeah.
they come and do new tree planting now, they have a modelling system that moves trees
Yeah.
away from all those types of assets
Yeah.
and sports fields and things. So I mean, it's not 100% right. They're still doing some learnings, but generally it's pretty good now.
Oh,
Takes
gosh.
into account like recession planes and things.
It just seems sometimes, you know, you're looking and you think, oh, why are those trees so
Yeah.
close to the area where kids are trying to spread out and play
Yeah.
ball when there's a lot of other area in the park? But okay, no, that's great. Thank you.
Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Cool, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Right, next up, we have the Gardeners Road Shared Pathway. Exciting.
Jeepers. Tell it yet. Good.
The first term project.
Yes.
Hey, team.
Hello, so I'm Catherine Jones, I'm the project manager. I have with me Mei Wong, she's my designer, and I have Matt Goldring, my team leader. So the situation with Gardeners Road is at the end of 2021, it was approved to deliver on the stage 1 footpath improvements between Wilkinson's Road and Sticks Mill Road, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. Since then, the project went on hold for some time due to the surf improvements and then came back off of hold last year. Earlier this year in March 2025, I was notified by the transport planning team that there's a potential plan change coming, which has since come through as Plan Change 22 for a developer to develop on the plot of land where the stage 1 writing is between Wilkinson's and Sticks Mill. And if that plan change is approved, they would be required to upgrade their frontage, which would include the footpath between Wilkinson's and Sticks Mill Road. So we had some conversations internally about, well, do we stick with the initial scope of works and develop that, knowing that if a developer comes in, they might just come in, completely get rid of it and rebuild again, which would be a bit of a waste of money. Do we look at a temporary option? Do we look at moving to stage 2, which is the next section down in red between Sticks Mill and Claridge's Road and connect up to that footpath there? So what I'm looking for this afternoon is some guidance and feedback as to which improvements we proceed with. And in my memo, I had outlined 5 potential options that we had talked about internally. The option 1 would be doing a temporary option for the stage 1. So it would just be quick and dirty, 1.5 meter grit path, just get something in there that's a hard surface. Option 2 would be just move ahead as planned and put in a permanent AC path, knowing that there could be some redundancy there. And option 3 would be just looking at maybe doing some tidying up at the intersection improvements and not look at any footpath work at the moment. A 4th option would be skip stage 1 completely and look at the stage 2 and connect up with the footpath there on Claridge's Road. And then option 5 would be hold tight until the developer comes in, if they come in, and see what manifests with that. So just looking for feedback and what you'd like to see.
Cool. What do you reckon, Aaron?
Well, why does stage 2 start halfway across our area?
There is a council stormwater facility on that corner of Sticks Mill and Gardeners. And there's a footpath that essentially meanders through that property, and it effectually gets to the road right at that point where the red and blue lines join.
Oh,
So we would be
is the
joining them.
expectation people go and, because they're not now in the paths there. So the ones coming along, like the young girl in the dark school uniform scootering in the middle of winter
Mhm.
in the foggy days, is not going in there now. She's staying on the side of the road. So why would, it's just too far. It's reasonable distance into the park. So you're kind of adding, oh, it's going to sound silly, like 40 metres to your journey, but you're going to go 20, 25 metres into
Keep
there.
going down the road
And
instead.
then 20, 25 metres out again, that people take the direct line. So, because that kind of looks like the developer would be doing along to there, but are we saying that that kind of little bit's already done? Are we calling that done, are we?
There's footpath infrastructure there, so we were effectively calling it done, yes.
Right, okay. And then stage 2, which is kind of more dangerous than stage 1 because people are closer to the side of the road, would make more sense than do your cheap and dirty on 1 and then your gravel path, so at least they're not on the edge of the road, and then the other one do the actual path would be my preference.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, my preference would be move to stage 2, but if we could put a grit path in stage 1 as an interim measure to provide some continuity between the crematorium there and I guess where stage 2 and stage 3 connect, that would be a great result. And then the developer can backfill stage 1 when they do their improvements. That would be if we have the amount of the money to be able to do stage 2 and then just grit stage 1 as a temporary measure.
Yeah, and then with stage 2, that should really go to the corner of Sticks Mill, because the local residents and the DCs they've paid is pretty massive anyway. That path over there, because anywhere else where there's a park and there's a path through the park, there's still a footpath down the side of the road usually. We don't kind of go, oh no, there's a path over there in the park, just when you get here, go over there, because that's all planted. So eventually those trees will be big. So nighttime walking and things would be, I would have thought, discouraged. Single young female walking through there on their own in big trees could potentially go bad. It's a good neighbourhood.
But it's just the as the crow flies thing. Like it's like I run down there quite a bit, and it is, while there is that path inside the thing, they will just walk down the side of the road where that path stops instead of going inside, unless they are actually going through the reserve for a walk.
Well, you ran there Sunday. Did you cut into the park, use that path, then come back out?
I did.
You did? Okay.
But I did it because the grass was wet and I didn't want to get wet feet, and I was trying not to run on the road. But my instincts were to not do that. And I'm not on a bike or a scooter or something like that. So but yeah, so our preference would be, if we could, to extend that grit from
just the cheap and dirty.
Even the cheap and dirty from like across in front of that wetland.
Just keeps the kids away from the side of the road. And then but I don't know if we have to make some changes to whatever we've signed off, but the path needs to go up to Sticks Mill Road. So if you need us to put something through that, and down the other end, what's happened there? Is that the other, you got your little red bit?
The stage 3. Yeah,
past stage 3, is it? There's a red one.
Oh, the other red stage 1 bit would be some of the intersection improvements at Sawyer's Arms and Gardeners Road, because there's 3 corners that have tactiles on them, but there's one that does not, because there's no footpath that connects to that section. So it would just be the bits and pieces to have pedestrian connectivity on the 4 corners.
Are we thinking of connecting that up, are we?
Yes, because I believe there is a path on that northern section that connects up to Birdie Place.
Yeah, only kind of where the subdivision is, and past it, there's nothing either way. Those people there all cross the road, obviously, but there's no, on this side, there's no path. So, and there's like the old houses that were there, so because they're not subdivided, there's no path there. So where this here ends there, the footpath finishes about there. And then there's a footpath on the other side, but there's none this side all the way to the corner. And then where the bus stop is, the grass is about this long. It's called the grassy stop.
I think Lynette's view was that they'll wait for that land to get developed.
Yeah,
and
there
then
is a
they'll get
paddock. There's that one paddock there. Well, one either side of houses, but once again, there's some houses which cause a bit of a blockage because they won't be putting a path outside their own place. And so it's whether we get a continuity or something going on or wait for the developers. But a cheap and dirty down there would probably be good as well if we think that it's getting developed.
Well, yeah, essentially if we're putting, I guess it depends, I guess the question is how expensive is it to look at putting a 1.5 metre grip path along parts of that stage 3 there just to provide the continuity at the other end. Obviously, when we were looking at the budget for this, there was only going to be enough to do and the funding.
Have you got any
stage
prices?
1.
Yep, I've got some high level prices. So for the grit path, the physical works cost for that is looking at about 270,000 for the section between Wilkinson's and Sticks Mill Road. I don't have prices for a grit path in other locations.
So I got a quote about 5 years ago, do the entire thing with the path on one side. So I went down with the contractor, got a price to put it, not moving any lampposts, just putting a path down where we can. And it was $170,000 for an asphalt path, the whole length.
Inflation, Aaron.
Sorry, I don't need to plunge you into darkness. David's on Zoom and you can't see the.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah,
but prices have gone up dramatically, unfortunately.
It's useful, but I guess the question is from our perspective to try and dial in on that is it would be good to know how much it would cost and if it would be feasible to, I guess, put a grip path on that stage 3 part within the budget that we've got. If we're just doing stage 2 and then cheap and dirty grit on stage 1 and stage 3, is there enough funding there? Because the distance doesn't seem to be quite as long, but it may be that it's cost prohibitive. But if that is possible, we would love to see if that can be done. Otherwise, if we can't, the grit on stage 1 and then go with stage 2 is a hell of a lot better than where we're at right now.
In that order, stage 1 grit and then
stage 3, yeah. Well, you prefer to see the stage 1 gritted rather than stage 3, eh?
Yeah, people are used to seeing more pedestrians down on the grassy knoll down that end. But get the stage 1 because they're on the side of the road. Traffic is quicker at that end than that end. And then definitely get the stage 2 in because there's no plans there that we're aware of for subdivision or anything. I mean, there's all houses there on really massive sections, but they should subdivide, but our luck, as soon as we do the path, they will. I'll put in plans. But yeah. So your plan of do that one, do cheap and dirty at each end, and then just a wait and see, I think.
Just had a question. So if you were to do cheap and dirty and then wait and see and then find out actually cool, like we can, things have settled, we know where the path can be. And if it's where the concrete path, the asphalt path, if that's where the cheap and dirty path is there any saving measure in what you do by putting a grip path in and then putting the more permanent path in where the grip path is? Is there any way that helps to be a small cost
Does
saving?
that count as prep work
Yeah.
for the future asphalting?
Save money for the development.
Yeah.
Within the existing boom area is probably not wide enough. Well, because in the future with the asphalt path, we're actually looking at a 2.5 metre wide sheer path. So the grip path won't be wide enough, and also there's probably not really enough room within the boom area without touching the power pole. So if we were looking at the AC path, asphalt path would be probably moving it sort of along the boundary, so it's away from traffic. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yes, the grip path would be closer to the traffic.
It's worth asking.
Mm-hmm. All right, is that clear as mud? Is that enough of a steer from us on that one?
yes, what I'm hearing is you'd like to do it all almost, but
Yeah.
if we come back with costs and it's not feasible, we want to establish what are the preferences, like would it be stage one grit plus the Sawyer's Arms intersection?
No.
Yeah, so
That'd be the last one, so that'd be the last add-on, I think, would
Yeah.
be the Sawyer's Arms intersection. It's the paths up there, that's where the life risk is up there. Basically, from the life risk is Claridge's to Wilkinson's.
Yep.
Because the cars are faster there. The grass is long, like Jason said, he didn't want to get wet feet. So the kids are the same, they don't want wet feet walking to school, the small handful that do. And so they're right on the edge of the traffic.
And as Aaron said, that to be fair, stage two, the road corridor and then the side of the road is probably the narrowest in that stage two bit, isn't it? So stage one and stage two, definitely the priorities. Like if we have to just go, you don't have enough money to even do stage one with grit, we'd still prefer probably just have stage two done, wouldn't we, Aaron?
Yeah. And I'll go down with my mower and just cut the other one back, follow it up with some Roundup.
Sheep.
Just go down with 50 bucks,
Let's hire a bobcat for a day.
40 gallons of Roundup. Clear a path.
Oh, bonus one. Didn't hear that. But yeah, so essentially stage two and then stage one
Yeah.
as a first.
So yeah, if you need them in order, it's that one. Start with two, then you're cheap and dirty that end, then the other end if there's enough money. So just if you've got no money, can you find out where all the DC money from that area, like I said in the previous one, has gone? Because the DCs in this area, there's a lot of money for these projects. So it makes no sense if it's not being used for projects in the area. Or does it go to Metro?
General pot.
Which is shit, because people spend a lot of money buying houses up here and then have no connection, but someone in a neighbourhood that isn't paying any DCs because the neighbourhood's 50 years old is getting new footpaths. That makes no sense. In fact, you'd almost have to say it's almost illegal, but
You'd have to have a majority at council and change some rules, Aaron.
majority at council, yeah.
We can go find that out.
Yeah, that'd be good, that if we can just check where that money's going. And I'll ask Brent directly as well, see him tomorrow, so just find out.
We are very enthusiastic to get it done, as it was a 2022 board priority. So it's great to see we're pretty close to some progress on that one. How I might have read it and I've forgotten. With this feedback, how long would it be before we could actually see some shovels in the ground type stuff on this?
So how much work have you done on stage two as far as design?
Just general layout at the moment, so normally we do sort of more detail investigations with the roads.
Yeah.
Service, so yeah.
So
There's
would
still
we
a bit of
see,
work to do.
but would that be like, because it's quite a simple job, you're only there for a few days on a job that size, would that be this year? This calendar year, so
Yeah.
by the end of,
I think we probably
Probably more like the next calendar year.
we'd need to come back and just tell you how much things are going to cost and what scope you'd like to go ahead with and stuff, I think.
okay,
So that probably won't be till next year now, or when the first board meeting is.
December.
yeah, but you can't lay in winter, so you'd want to, if you're asphalting, you'd want to be doing that before Easter type thing to get your best result, but I mean, you can after that, but depending on what the weather's doing.
So like most likely you'd be seeing it inside 18 months, so like not the summer necessarily, but the one after. When is that a likely time? Just an estimated time frame, because obviously we've been waiting since 2022, so we're just trying to get a bit of a gauge, like how close are we to seeing when this might actually get done? Is that something that you guys can give a steer on at all, like roughly? Would it be
Yeah, I
18
think
months
if not
or?
this summer, then next summer.
Yeah, I would say that
I'm
next
pretty
summer.
confident of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But we've got to steer now on stage one, then stage two, so we can start progressing designs and that.
Yep. Okay. Great. I don't think we have any further questions on that one. So awesome. Thanks very much, team.
week's work. Just, that's a H4 path each side, compacting, maybe.